Okay, Jennifer,
Yes.
welcome to the podcast. And let's start by giving us your experience after you left school. Talk about your career for a few minutes.
Okay. So I got my degree in health administration, health management. I worked at one of the local hospitals here in St. Louis for 6 years. I come from a family of physicians, so I have a lot of passion for healthcare. And once I worked in the hospital, I went on to help a physician group start an independent physicians association. And while I was working there, doing sales and helping them grow this physicians group, I met Dr. Mary Mason and heard about Little Medical School. It was just a little St. Louis company offering a couple after-school programs, teaching kids about health and science careers, and was offered the job to come on and do some coordinating and growing the business in St. Louis. And that's exactly what I did. So my background is in sales and healthcare and management, and I've just been really lucky over the years to be able to help grow the Little Medical School business.
Awesome. What year did you join Little Medical School?
That was back in where are we at? 8 years. So I think that was 2013.
Okay. Well, tell us about when Little Medical School started and who started it.
So Dr. Mary Mason started Little Medical School in 2010. And what she wanted to do was just kind of help educate kids about different health and science careers, educate kids about how their bodies work, some basic life-saving skills. So it just started, she just wrote our program called Little Medical School. And she wanted to give kids that real hands-on experience with real medical tools. So we would give out real working stethoscopes. We are teaching kids to do blood pressures. And we're starting at the age of 4. So you give a child a real working stethoscope and they put it in their ears and they put it up to their heart, and all you see is this gigantic smile come across their face. And it is the most rewarding thing I've ever been a part of. And I'm proud to help, guide these kids. And I'm really proud to follow in Mary's footsteps and be able to make her vision come to life.
Awesome. What age, when you say kids, what's the age group? What ages do you seek to help?
When we started, it's ages 4 to 14. So we do have a teen medical school. So we'll do more advanced classes with the teens. And then we're just now coming out with what we call our mini medics program. And that is a caregiver and me program, which will be for the 0 to 3-year-olds. So we're going to kind of go from 0 to 14. And then we also utilize, high school students that may have taken our classes in the past and use them as volunteer instructors that will help kind of assist with our classes, especially when we've got the full class going. We like to have some volunteers to help us. So we're just trying to help with the workforce shortage, which sadly is becoming a true reality in the healthcare field, and just trying to give them kids a little stepping stone and hopefully guide them to a career in the healthcare field.
You've been doing this for 8 years. Do you think that more of the children might go into healthcare because of your classes?
I mean, I think so. I hope so. I know we have had some students come back that are now going into medical school, which, really makes us feel good that we've done something that is, stuck in their minds over the past few years, that we've taught them something that said, hey, I want to be a vet. I want to be a doctor or a nurse or a pharmacist. We have so many different offerings that, we're not just sticking just to doctors. It could be anything, a nutritionist, a dentist, just trying to get some excitement out there, because we are going to need a lot of nurses and a lot of doctors and the radiologists and all the people that are in the healthcare field. So yeah, I do think that we are going to get some kids to come back and go into medical school or nursing school or pharmacy school, whatever it may be.
Now, the word school is unclear, because when you think of a school, you think about a physical facility. So do you operate a physical facility and or roving classes? How does it work?
So we kind of get a little bit of both. So we're the corporate office here in St. Louis, and we do host classes in our brick and mortar, but then we also go more mobile. So we call on schools at their after school programs and say, hey, we've got this amazing program educating kids about health and science careers. Could we be a part of your after school program? And so we go to all sorts of schools in their after school programs. We help Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts earn various badges. We do in-school field trips, birthday parties, summer camps. And so we've been able to kind of go all over the place, community centers, churches, Parks and Recs department. We've kind of just want to go everywhere, hospitals. And so we've been pretty successful in kind of getting out there and getting these programs into the hands of our youth.
So is there an average size class or a typical size class of how many students?
Yes. So we cap it at 12. Since COVID, we've had to bring it down to 10. And, so we can social distance. But our minimum is 4 students and our max is 12. And so that keeps it, manageable for our instructors. We do utilize some medical students. We have some retired doctors that teach for us. And so we always try to keep it manageable, especially when you've got young kids.
Well, it sounds like you've had it in dozens of different kinds of facilities, if not hundreds. It must have very minimum requirements of what you need at a facility.
That is true. All we need are tables and chairs. We don't require any electronics. The whole goal that Dr. Mason had was to kind of get kids away from the screen, the electronics for an hour. And which I think what drew me to it most is, kids right now are just always have their faces in a phone or a computer or an iPad. And with our programming, we don't use any of that. I could go and teach the classes in the middle of a park, no problem. We bring all the supplies. We role play calling 911 and the different scenarios that they're going to go through. We role play the digestive system. It's really a hands-on kind of role play experience for them.
Now, saying that, you said do you actually ever do it outside?
We do. Yeah, we have a wilderness program, wilderness medicine. So teaching kids how to splint, a broken leg in the wild, or how to be rescued in the wild. So we do offer, some of our programs outside, and we have a sports medicine program that we've done with some sporting groups, camps that are around town. So they'll learn a little bit about soccer, and then they'll come to us and we'll teach them about, what their bodies are going through when they're playing these sports and the types of injuries they could have.
You mentioned an hour. Is every class an hour?
It is. So in the after school setting, so we usually run it for a 6-week program, meets 1 day a week for an hour for 6 weeks. And then for summer, we offer half-day camps for a week and then full-day camps. So parents can send them early in the morning, pick them up later in the afternoon, and do a nice full day of camp, which we've been doing all summer this summer. It's been great being able to be back in person with everybody.
Does everyone have to bring their lunch, or do you provide lunches for the students?
No, we ask that they bring their lunch because, with kids with allergies, we want to make sure we're very careful. So they do bring bottles of water, a snack, and then a lunch. And that will help get them through the day. We take multiple breaks. We don't want this to be, it's not a lot of lecture. We want kids to come in and, do a little bit of talk. We do a white coat ceremony at the beginning of our program where the kids get their white coat and kind of make it real like, medical school is. And then they get their name tags. And if it's our vet program, they'll get their stuffed animal dog that they adopt. And they learn how to care for that animal as a vet would throughout the week. Or our cat program or our new horse program. We've got a lot going on. It's a lot of fun.
So when you say white coats, all week long they wear white coats?
They do, if they want to. So they get their white coat at the beginning of the week, and most of the kids are so excited to put that white coat on and pretend like they're the doctor for the week. And, they got their cute little name tag, and they'll wear it. And then at the end of the week, or at the end of our after-school program, we do a graduation ceremony. And we have them put their stethoscopes around their neck, their little white coat on, and we have them recite our oath, not the true Hippocratic oath, but our oath, and each one is different per program. And then they receive our diploma. And before COVID, we would have all the parents come in and they would take pictures and watch their student graduate from Little Medical School. It was a very special moment. And it also, the parents got to see the value of what their children have been learning over the week or over the 6 weeks, whatever it may be, because the kids would put on a little presentation of everything they've learned throughout the camp or throughout the after-school program.
So how many different programs do you have?
So we have Little Medical, nursing, pharmacy, 4 veterinarian programs, sports medicine, pediatrician, nutrition, wilderness, dental. We're working on a medical forensics program. We have some virtual programs. So we have almost 500 hours of curriculum all around healthcare, different healthcare careers.
So if it's 500 hours, it's 60, 70, 80 different classes?
Yes.
So it sounds like one student could attend many, many sessions.
Yes. We have a lot of repeat. We have a child outside right now that she has attended every single week of our camp. She loves it so much that she just wants to keep coming back. And we love that. She loves her white coats and she loves to adopt the animals or get the bandana and learn how to tie a tourniquet or splint a broken leg. And we encourage them to come back. And hopefully one day she'll come back and be an instructor for us.
In St. Louis, how many weeks of Little Medical School do you have during the summer in St. Louis?
Every week. So we are actually still going with camp. So next week will be our last week because schools start here on the 23rd of August. So we started in early June. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
10 weeks?
11 weeks.
11 weeks. And do each week you have a different curriculum?
No, we repeat some because, especially veterinarian, because it sells out really quickly. And so we get a wait list. And then parents are calling, are you going to offer another dog program or another horse program? And so we'll have more offerings so that everybody has the opportunity to take our camp. We've had a very successful summer and have had to open extra sessions, which is a blessing. And we just love getting these kids in here and having fun with them.
So actually people pick favorites. Instead of picking the week, some people or most people pick the topic.
Yes.
And how do they find out what the topics are?
So we advertise through our social media. We advertise on some local, what we call here is stlparent.com, where a lot of parents go on to find camps. We attend a lot of summer camp fairs so that we can promote the different various camps that we have. And then we do a little description of the camp, what they'll find, what the kids will do throughout the week so that they know exactly what they'll be learning and the various products that they'll get to come home with at the end of the week. And I think that's a big selling point. And right now with veterinarian being so popular, the kids love getting to adopt their dog or their cat or their horse and kind of getting to go through that process.
That's interesting that you say right now veterinarians are so popular. So that's changed over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, vet has always been kind of popular, but medical school, getting that stethoscope has always been a big draw, right? Because parents want kids to have that stethoscope or want them to learn how their brains work or how their lungs work or basic first aid. And that is a big draw. And we still sell out of those programs as well. And then we brought in wilderness medicine, which has also been incredibly popular. Getting the kids outside, teaching them about poison ivy and poison oak and, what you can and can't eat in the wild. And they get to learn about floods and lightning and all sorts of really interesting and fun topics. And they go home and they talk to mom and dad about it. That's really what matters, is that they're learning and retaining.
So do they leave class with a stethoscope and a white coat?
They do. They leave at the end of the week at graduation. They'll go home with that diploma, the white coat, and the stethoscope. But then throughout each day, they get to go home with other items. It could be our organ sticker set, where they put all the organs that they use for breathing. And then they'll put on the organs that they use for digestion. And then we have pen lights and that nurses would use and doctors would use. And they learn how to suture and tie knots. We have a surgery class. So I had curved needles made with blunt ends to protect our kids. And we teach them how to suture, which is really fun. They also get to remove their gallbladders. Not really, but we do a cholecystectomy, and they get to play the various roles. Someone is the surgeon, someone plays the role of the patient, someone's the surgical nurse, and then the anesthesiologist. And they role play that surgery.
I'm pretty old, and the old way to take out a gallbladder is you'd go in and make this cut in your abdomen, and then you'd go in and cut it out. But now they do it so they go in like through the belly button and
laparoscopically.
Is
less
that
invasive?
Are they learning the new way to do it or the old way to do it?
Well, we do. We talk about laparoscopic surgery, and as opposed to what it used to be like. And then we're also coming up with a class. I'm not sure if you're aware of Da Vinci. It's the robotics that assist with surgeries now. And so we're going to come up with a class on that whole robot that can do surgery, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we try to give them that real experience. We try to teach them what it's really like in the OR and what does an anesthesiologist, what is their role, what do they monitor, what does a surgical nurse do, what kind of tools are they passing to the surgeon.
And what are the fees for a full day each week and half day each week, typically?
Well, here in St. Louis, and now we do have franchises kind of throughout the United States. It does vary on where they live, but here in St. Louis, for a half-day camp, it is $150. And for a full-day camp, it is $300. And if you're in the after-school setting, it is around $100. 6-week program.
We've talked mostly about summer school. So there's 42 weeks left in the year. So Now summer school ends in August and September comes. What does your business do in September? What kind of classes do you run during the school year?
So what we do is we call on the schools. We call on larger districts, smaller schools, and we say, hey, we've got this, these amazing programs. We give them our course catalog. And a lot of times the schools will say, we want little medical school. Will you run that for 6 weeks? Absolutely. We have one school that said, we want you to run for 12 weeks. That's absolutely okay. So we're going to run little medical school. We have 3 parts to little medical school. So we'll run 1 and 2. They consist of 6 classes each. We have some schools that say, we only want vet. And so they'll choose which animal they want. And then some schools say, you choose for us. So it will look back to see if we've run anything with them before. If we have, we'll choose something different so that students get the opportunity to take a different one of our programs. And, we want everybody to have the opportunity to take all of our classes.
So you mentioned not just schools, but other like churches and parks and et cetera, et cetera. So you're not just doing after school. How do you market and find other facilities?
So what we do is we call, every community center that is in the St. Louis area. We call YMCAs, we call Parks and Rec departments, and we, tell them who we are and what we're offering, and could we be a part of their programming, whether it be after school, whether it be a weekend event, or maybe if they would, if someone wants to have a birthday party at a Parks department, sure, we can do that too. And now we're getting into doing, the in-school field trips. And so schools are calling us and saying, hey, can you come in during the day and do a 1-hour program for us or a 30-minute program? We'll come up with something that's really hands-on, very engaging, and we'll bring that into the school setting as well. So whatever anybody wants, whether it's a hospital or a parks department or a YMCA, they say they want us to come in and do some programming, we're all over it. We never say no.
Now, of course, it sounds like you start out by making calls. Do eventually organizations call you and say, can you come here? They hear about it, or some parent works they work at the YMCA and YMCA isn't doing it, and they say, oh, can you come to the YMCA and do it? Or is that happen that you get inbound calls?
Yes, lately that's been happening more and more frequently. I think one, because of the COVID climate that we're living in and just trying to educate kids about, their health and washing hands. So we've been getting a lot of phone calls. Hey, can you come in this fall and do these programs for us? Absolutely. We do make a lot of outbound calls, but now the tables are kind of turning and people are calling us. We do a lot of PR. Dr. Mason has just been phenomenal, and she has done multiple TV segments just to get the word out on what we're doing, what we're offering. There's nobody else out there that's offering this type of programming for young kids. We're teaching kids basic CPR, Heimlich, how to tie tourniquets, how to do basic first aid, things that they're not learning in the school setting. We're teaching them in the after-school setting.
So how many countries is Little Medical School in?
Oh, my goodness. We're in...
How many?
13.
13?
Yes.
Let's talk about the franchise and some questions about how the franchise works. First of all, what is the total investment? What's the total startup I need to acquire a franchise?
So the total investment that we are telling folks to have between $30,000 to $70,000. Now, I know that's kind of a broad range, but some folks want to open a brick and mortar right away. And we don't have many that do that. But since the others that come in that want to start at, mobile, working from home and then going into the schools or the parks department. So you can do it, at $30,000, $45,000. If you want to come out of the gate and open a brick and mortar, you can do that as well. So there are options.
So to be clear, you don't need to start with brick and mortar. You can do it out of your home.
Exactly. And that really decreases your overhead. And it allows you time to call the schools and all the various venues that are in your market and get the name and the word out. And as you start to build your business, having that brick and mortar might be something that you want down the road.
And what's the size of a territory? How big of an area do you need to have enough students to be profitable?
Sure. So our territory consists of 100 elementary schools. So what we do is we start with a couple zip codes. The interested franchise, they'll say, hey, I want to be in this city. I want to be around this zip code. And so what we do is we look and we see how many schools are in these zip codes, and then we expand it until it meets that 100 elementary school requirement. Now, I know that may seem like 100 elementary schools, that's not a lot. Well, you also got to consider we've got preschools, and then your high schools, your middle schools, all your parks departments, your community centers, your churches, your hospitals. The possibilities are endless.
So, right. If there was just 500 students in elementary school, that's 50,000 children. That's a lot of children, a lot of potential customers. And you said that they're often repeat. They come year to year or week to week. I mean, how many years do they come back? Do they just do it for one year and then stop coming, or do the kids like it so much that they come for year after year? So
the one child that's here with us that's kind of come to all of our camps this summer, she actually was with us last year too. And she just loves it so much. And we kind of make her like a little junior assistant because she's been through our classes. And so we do have some repeats. But something else that we get too is students who have then have younger siblings that are starting to get into school. And then those siblings start to take our classes. So we'll kind of see families come through, for several years as their children grow, and they kind of grow with us, which has been really special.
What kind of traits does a franchisee need to have? What are you looking for? What kind of person?
We're looking for somebody that, first and foremost, wants to educate our youth, that wants to give them those stepping stones and get them excited about a possible career in healthcare, or just teaching them about science and how their bodies work. You have to have a passion for working with kids. And then on top of that, you have to have an energy about you, something that, will get you out there making those calls to the schools and the different venues. And, you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion to go out there and say, look at what I'm doing. Look at what we're doing for our youth. And as long as you're willing to put in the hard work and the time and the effort, you can make this business incredibly successful.
So they don't...
Just want love and heart.
Go ahead.
We just want to people with heart. Yep.
Okay, so they don't need to be medical experienced in any way. They don't need to be doctors or nurses or have any medical training.
They do not. The really great thing about our programs is that they have been written, and then what we have done is we've done various activity videos and to help with how those classes should be run. So do we have doctors and nurses who are franchise owners? Yes, we do. And they are fantastic, and we love having them. But if there is somebody that, we have some teachers who have decided to purchase a franchise because they love education so much. We get a wide variety, and that's perfectly fine and perfectly normal for us. As long as you have that passion and that drive to educate our youth, then that's what we're looking for. And we will help train you on that curriculum, help you watch those videos, and help you make phone calls and get you right going on the right step.
So it's a little bit unclear to me. I'm new, never been in medicine, and I'm teaching someone how to take a gallbladder out. How do I learn? How do I learn to be an instructor?
So for instructors, they go through pretty extensive training. Since we do have so many hours of curriculum, what we try to do is they sign up for the program that they are going to teach, and then we have them read through the curriculum, and then we have them watch the activity videos, and then we go through those in person together. We also have them watch a live class in action before they'll teach on their own. And then once they have learned all of that, asked all of our questions, we kind of have them teach back to us. And then we allow them to go out and teach in the school setting or the summer camp setting or whatever it may be. And obviously we go back in and we check to make sure that, they're doing a good job and the kids are happy and the schools are happy. And and then they'll move on to the next program, and then we'll train them on that new program. But training them on 500 hours of curriculum is a lot to start. So we start with one program, and then we build our way up.
So when you say they watch a class, could they watch it electronically? Could they watch it digitally? Or do they have to be in person?
We like for them to be in person only because we want them to kind of be an assistant. So it gets them involved too. And they kind of get to see, not every class is full of well-behaved students. We do have our share of the ones that kind of run around, and having that assistant in there is helpful. And it shows them what they could experience. And it also helps them to see how that instructor is training, the lead instructor.
Jennifer, I need to interrupt. We're at the end of the half hour. It flew by. Great information.
It did.
It's an exciting opportunity, and look forward to having you on again to talk more about it. Thank you for your time today.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.